Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are giving you guys a live on Couples Retreat episodes 7 and 8. Yes, it was an interesting 2 episode leg affair where we got to see Daniel and Jess. They came to a good conclusion, I think, at the end, a sensible one for them. We had Rada and Michael. We know there were always going to be foolishness between the two of them. We'll discuss that more as well on this review. We also had Kiona and Nick. There's some interesting twists and turns in there. Apologies does not mean forgiveness. That's why I've titled it this. Apologies does not mean reconciliation. Sorry, I should say. Maybe not saying forgiveness, reconciliation. And then we also had Shamari and Ronnie again, who surprised me because I'm just going to say this. I love AJ, the coach. But when she tried to equate the fact that he maybe withheld a bit of his love cautiously to betrayal, I said, I need you to keep that energy for Shamari and keep it for Shamari only. Okay, that's betrayal, not, you know what I mean? But we'll discuss that as well. And then we also had Ajwa and Pete and Styles P, who kind of less on this episode. We saw them a little bit at the beginning of episode 7 where they shared a bit of their heart with Shamari and Ronnie. But there was less that was happening for them. As well, and I think one more couple, and I'm trying to that's it, KJ and Claudia. Instead of y'all deciding to take AJ's advice, you lot decided to go left with it, and since you went left with it, you're gonna have to deal with the consequences. If you don't deal what is at the root cause, you're gonna find out the branches ain't looking too bright later on. But I'm not doing this alone today. I'm gonna be joined by Jay. How you doing today, Jay?
I'm good. How you guys doing today as well, people? Glad you guys are here. He doesn't do it, but I'm gonna do it. Like, share, and subscribe because y'all don't want to miss this.
You don't want to miss this because it's gonna be good. Like the last 2 episodes of Couples Retreat have been a treat, and they've shown us different aspects. Who would you want to talk about first? Who do you think is a burning one that you want to talk about first? Like, you think we should talk about them?
I'll save I'll save my MVP for last, which is Nick and Kiona. I call them an MVP, and I'll tell you why later. But I want to probably start with KJ and Claudia. Okay. Yeah, let's start with them.
KJ and Claudia. Yep. What would you say is their major problems? Because obviously in episode 8 they got to write a contract. They got to write a contract. They decided that they're going to stay together rather than take the advice of AJ. But in episode 7, I guess they exposed some of their secrets. The secret exposing. I think KJ was telling Claudia that is his woman that he wants, but there's if clauses to it.
Yeah.
So what was your kind of thoughts to KJ and Claudia's situation?
Yeah. I wish Claudia would have just taken the advice. AJ's advice does not mean you have to break up.
Yeah, I get you.
It doesn't mean that we have to be, even if we do have a break, it doesn't mean that we have to be apart for a long time, but it is saying take time to really think about yourself, what it is that you want, weigh the pros and cons, and see if this person is bringing that to you. And I really, really wish Claudia would do that, because what I've been hearing from KJ throughout this whole season mostly is, I do love you, but I'm not ready for what you want.
That's it.
And the thing is, when you get with a person who's been married before, first thing you want to make sure is, do they want to marry again? Some people don't.
12 years of marriage. Yeah.
Some people really don't, and some people do. So that's one question that should have been addressed first and foremost. Do you even want to be married again? Because otherwise you're wasting my time, because this is what I want. Now, if you don't want those things, you're not going to worry about it. But him being married already, and it doesn't mean that I want to rush back in it. I don't really know how long ago was his divorce. Getting together either. So that might play a factor into it, as well as the timing of everything. Like, I'm not so pressed to jump into something right away after I just got out of something, and he's a bit younger. So that means he got married a little early. So he probably missed some of his wilding out time.
Days.
And if I jump right into a relationship after I'm out in one, I still don't know me. I didn't get a chance to get to know me yet. And I think that's what AJ was seeing. Take this time to learn you.
Yeah.
See yourself. And really, if Claudia would have took that lead and said, okay, that's what I'm going to do, KJ would have followed. He's a little bit pressed on losing her,
Yeah.
that he just agreed. But I think he really wanted her to say, you know what, I like what you're saying, AJ, let me take the time. And that would have bettered their friendship in the meantime. You know, we'd get a better understanding of one another. I'll let you have your time when you're busy. You have this busy schedule that you can't tend to me. So let me figure out how to love me enough that I'm not going to be worried and pressed by your schedule all the time. You know, I don't know what his last marriage was like. I think they should have dived into that a little bit more too, so we can kind of get an understanding what his expectations are. Because sometimes when you've been married so long, you have long-term expectations that you still want from that part of the marriage. You know, if you had somebody that was there kind of waiting on you hand and foot, you might still want that part. Claudia might not bring that part to you. So now you're not turned on by her anymore. That was another big thing for me. The man is saying he's not turned on by you, but you don't want to take the time out to figure out why. Like, you're trying to force every issue at every turn. Kiana shows her ring. You want to sit here and say, hey, babe, you want to see what a real ring looks like? He knows what a ring looks like. He's been married before.
Cool. Yeah.
This is not his first go around at this. So let this man do it at his pace, because that's really like the saying goes, the man is the one who proposes marriage, not the woman. So if you're forcing it on it, you're going to have a forced marriage, and that's not what you want, because you're not going to be a happy wife, and he ain't going to have a happy life. And then soon after, you both be divorced. Time is ticking if you're trying to have kids, all of these things, but why get with somebody that had all of those things already then?
It's real. It's real. I mean, go on.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, with KJ and Claudia, you're absolutely right. I think KJ first and foremost is not being totally honest, which is that, there's something blocking you from why you're not marrying her, right? I think this is, instead of actually just being honest about, there is something that's stopping me from getting married to you, which is more than just, I guess, her being on a computer and being on a laptop. It's generally how you feel about this particular relationship. I said it in one of my reviews. I don't personally believe he actually sees marriage with this woman. I don't think he sees it. I think she's cool, great, amazing. So long as we don't have marriage, fantastic. Right. The moment you mention marriage, this is not the partner he envisages for marriage. And I think he should just be honest with her. Because it's just going to drag, and all you're going to hear is her being annoyed about the fact that, you know what, she didn't get what she wanted from him, and he wasted her time. So I think in this case, when you're seeing KJ and Claudia as well, she didn't want to take the time out to really delve deeper into how she can help herself and fix herself. She was more concerned about, well, I need to be on track for marriage. Babe, did you not hear what AJ said? You need to be on track for self-healing. You need to be on track for self-development. You need to be on track for self-introspection. That's what you need to be on. You don't need to be on track for marriage. And that's what AJ was trying to allude to. Be on track for growth, personal growth, so that then this potentially could fester the intimacy that you're requiring. Because what you're doing is you're going to pay over the cracks, and it's going to appear later on again. Why? You guys are still young, 40-something, and you guys ain't really having sex? I ain't got nothing to do with the laptop. I'm sorry. Because as soon as you shut that laptop at 2 a.m., I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do something. So that intimacy that you're talking about ain't got nothing to do with the laptop. Just saying. You know what I mean?
Right. Never that sleepy.
I never that sleepy. I'm awake. Baby, you finished?
I wake up early.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm going to be tired by the morning.
Right. I mean, and that's the key thing that you said. AJ is saying work on self. You're breaking down in this shine the light exercise. You're breaking down because you honestly don't feel worthy. And that was your key right there to say, you know what? I need to love myself enough. So I know what my worth is. So I know if somebody's bringing value to my table or not. Stop just trying to hold on. And part of me just feels like she's trying to hold on to this relationship because of the world, not so much of the relationship, because she is a public figure. We have seen her on plenty of platforms. We have dove into her love life on mishaps, relationships, and all these things like that. So we do know that she's had, turbulence in her past with the relationships. And I think at this point is I'm just going to make this one work just because. More so than I need to make myself better so any relationship I step into would work. And I don't know, like you said, he's not being honest enough to say, hey, I like you a lot, but I don't want to be married. I don't want to be married. I eventually, maybe again one day when he's really, really ready, he'll do it, but it's not on her timeline. And her timeline is right now because she wants kids, she wants this, and she's pressing a line in her head about the age of more she is and having children. The second thing is, do he really want more children?
Yeah, that's a real question.
Because every time it was brought up, I didn't hear it. Didn't sound like, yeah, I want more. I want to start more. So I can give you the marriage, and now I'm going to just push back kids. Next year, you'll be on couples retreat again. Michael and Rada.
Yep.
Because that's what ultimately Michael did. He just gave her a shut up ring, and she took it. And so KJ can do the same thing. Yeah, we'll get into that.
It's not enough to be the first time, man. So the second time you'll get it too.
Yeah. Take it back. And, yeah, I mean, it's true. He's not ready to lose her, but he needs to be honest and more with himself and say, you know what? The chances are I would rather lose you as a partner than lose you as a friend. You can keep her in your life as a friend. I don't understand why we have to be so pressed on having relationships that are not fixed for us. When it comes to relationships, sometimes we're like puzzle pieces. They should just fit in there smoothly. The picture should become more clearer as each piece gets together. It should not be, we're going to force these pieces that don't work. And I just wish they would really just take that time, like AJ said, and just love self. Come back in a couple of months. She basically pressed this man by the end of the year with that notion she said that he didn't know about, but coming out clean saying it. By the end of the year, he's going to he has to propose or she's going to leave it. Like, why would you do that to him? That's pressure. So whenever this was filmed, I'm assuming maybe like January, February, we got only about 10 more months left to get it right before you leave him. I don't know. These two. He said, Renee said she was there just there for a vacation. I mean, possibly she was there and getting all up in Dennis' business. I mean, Daniel's business, though. I love her for that. I do love her for getting in Daniel's business, but just there for a vacation. Why waste your time? He got into the end of the year, and I don't think that's enough time for him.
Yeah, because she did give a time limit that she said to her girlfriend end of the year. I was like, well, baby, listen, I hear that. I think where Claudia is, it's really interesting. I was thinking about this in the gym when I was watching as I was going on my jog on the treadmill as I was watching the show, and I was thinking to myself, listening to KJ and Claudia, that Claudia is well behind a lot of people. What I mean by that is Claudia represents a lot of people, and a lot of people are behind. There are certain lessons that we start learning early through maybe hardships, relationships, where you learn how to put yourself first, and then you learn how to know to decipher what are my needs and what are my wants. You learn to communicate what my needs and wants are. She's now at a place where she's going to have to learn that. And she's going to be thinking about time. And the problem is here is you're going to waste more time not trying to sort it out now than trying to kind of pretend as if, you know what, I'm going to bury my head in the sand and continue onwards and hope this works. Like, he's not going to make it work any more than he needs to. Like, he's not, I don't think he's ready for marriage with you, at least, anyway. He seems like the type that leaves her now and is married in 6 months' time. You know what I mean? Like, because although he's in the relationship, he's also gone out the relationship because something isn't quite right for him. And again, I go back to it. It's not the laptop. It's not the social media presence. You guys are not clicking on a certain level. He's not receiving what he needs from you specifically, which is why AJ is saying go and sort it out, because you've got nothing to give this guy but emptiness. And him too. Emptiness, because what you want is not there. You know, so anybody watching this to just be looking at KJ and Claudia and thinking to myself, you know, hey, you know, I can see myself in them. If you can, then look at yourself in a bit more deeper phase and say, do I need to love myself? Do I need to put a better value on myself? Do I need to go and do some work and really evaluate what I actually want? And can I articulate that? You know what I mean? She struggled. AJ tried to bring that in episode 6, trying to tell her, you struggle with articulating what you want. You know, so you know, with Claudia, again, it's not even like it's even necessarily bad on Claudia, but it's more of saying that Claudia, like, don't hang on to something that isn't even giving you the benefits that you require. So you're actually selling yourself short. You're not getting what you actually want. You're just buying your time away from loneliness and from being alone, that you're willing to surrender and circumvent your process and cut short just so that you can stay in a relationship.
It's just like the photo shoot at the end. John Sally gave them all the tasks of the photo shoot. The photo shoot was to actually, like it says, to envision your relationship where it will be at the end of the retreat. She was like, oh, I see us, the partnership that we will have, like the business that we will have, all of these things. It was nothing about love. It was nothing about connection. You know, it was weird because it wasn't even about what she actually been saying. All she wants, this ring and all of these things like that. You had none of these props, none of these things. You were throwing money in the air. You both were disconnected. You guys weren't even matching in there. You guys weren't even in sync on that. You're standing in front of him. You guys are not even standing side by side. You guys have not been holding each other or anything. He's actually leaning in over you. So you just want a husband as arm candy, as a bag, as look what I got. I got a husband. She want to hit the color purple. I's married now saying and stuff. She doesn't even care. Like, you don't care about anything but the status. And I think that's where the disconnect, where the intimacy should be at, is coming from, because he can understand. It's like, I can't even get the sex from you. You want me to be married? If I'm not getting it now and we've been started this way, it'd be different if we weren't having any relations prior. We were practicing abstinence. We were practicing celibacy, all of this prior to marriage. That's different. But you've given me some before. Now, all of a sudden it stops. And you want me to give you a ring. I've been married before, so I already know that eventually it slows down anyway. Okay, this is not a good sign. This right here is not a good sign. I can't even be intimate with you. I can't woo you off of your computer for anything. It's something in that song Erykah Badu said, I can make you put your phone down. That right there, that confidence, that ego boost that I need to let you know that when I say I'm ready, you drop everything for me. I can't get you to do that. Tells me I'm not that important in your life. So why is it so important that we get married? Why is it so important that you push this? To be honest, when AJ says, it should ring to KJ that when AJ tells you to work on yourself, you're not even important enough for yourself. You shouldn't want to be with a person that's not even willing to work on themselves for you or themselves. That's a major problem. But, wish them best of luck.
Wish them best of luck indeed, man. Wish them best of luck indeed. Yep. Hopefully she values herself and she will grow, but we're asking a lot. We're asking a lot. Okay, cool. KJ and Claudia, we'll leave them there.
Yeah.
Who's the next person you want to hit?
Let's see it. Let's do Ajua.
And Styles P.
Yeah.
Yeah, since there wasn't much that happened in the last episodes, but it was more the last episode before that.
Yeah. I do love them. Losing a child. Losing an actual living child. Like it's different when you have a miscarriage.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than losing. You spend a lot of time with this, and then the way they lost her, it wasn't outside forces. She did it to herself. First off, my condolences to them. That's a heavy burden to swallow. That's a heavy thing to get past, and the fact that they're still here trying is enough in itself. A lot of couples do split because of this, because sometimes just looking at the other parent, sometimes just that blame on self is just so much, it just draws a wedge between two couples. Between the couples. So I commend them strongly for keep trying every resource that they have to get this out. Where I think it falls short is that Styles really, really needs a release. And I know you said it the last time on your live that, that release will be everything he needs. He needs one good release and then a couple of more afterwards. And he had a partial one on the last episode 6. He had a partial one there. But he needs one just real all out cry, be mad at the world cry. Just to get every bit of that pain out so he can start his healing process, because that pain is stopping him from truly healing and being okay. And, I have not experienced a loss in such manner. I haven't had anybody close to me do it in that manner. So I can't understand the pain. And I do know we all grieve in our own way. But sometimes whatever it is, you can go to a rage room, whatever, you just need to release that energy somehow. And I really hope that he really takes heed of everything he's received in these journeys that they've had together between couples retreat and couples therapy and their individual counseling outside of all of this, and find some way to really release all of that he's been holding on all these years, because it has been a while since their daughter passed. I do really love this couple because they're really close. They're really, they're like this with one another. There's like real love there, but he is holding back so much, and he wants to keep trying to put it off on Ajua because it was a point where those little cards that they read to each other in the beginning, she asked him the question.
He was swift. He was swift to say, and she was like, "You didn't read the card properly."
This is for you. I was like, bruh, we're not here to fix her. We're here to get you. We get that tough exterior that you got. We're here for you, baby, because I don't really see what Ajua problem. I didn't see any problem with Ajua through this whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't get too much. There was.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, no, I think there was not much. To be honest, it wasn't much about Ifram. It was just literally that last bit that was about a child. Yeah.
The other thing too is that they are a couple of business people that work in business together, so they do need to learn to separate that.
To be a bit more separate, yeah.
Yeah, get that separated so they can be intimate at home, and that's a hard thing to do when you work with somebody, because business always seems to come home with you in that kind of situation. Yeah. So they have to just fraction out times a day where it's just, this is what we talked about This is business only. And at this time of day, we are home. And depending on what type of business it is, sometimes that get a little tricky because sometimes business never stops in certain fields. But we got to say, hey, you got to set so much time aside and just say, it's me time. It's us time. It's our time. Date night, whatever it is, you got to do. You got to do it. You know, book more vacations together, something.
Yeah, we didn't get too much. We didn't get too much of the issues, so it's hard to really say much about them. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, definitely, obviously, losing a child was a big thing. So hopefully, they can just do the maybe grief counseling or trauma counseling, you know, and just trying to heal from that situation. Especially Styles P. I think he just needs space to be able to cry. I think that's what he needs. He just needs a space where he can just weep. You know, one good weep. You know, and let it out and stuff. You know, so. But again, it was beautiful to see them, you know, the way they were and stuff. So, yeah.
I think they had one of the best photos as a couple between Shamari and Ronnie. They had like a couple photo. And it, I mean, 26 years. I think it's 26 years they've been together.
Yeah, there's a lot. They've been there for a lot of years.
Yeah, they're like the longest. They're one of the longest. So kudos to them. You know, the other couples could definitely learn a lot from them. So if they were serious couples, they should have got some numbers and figured it out.
and listen, free coaching, you know,
for real,
free coaching, you know, like I said. So yeah, definitely. I mean, you saw them even on this episode, on episode 7. They were both sitting on the couch talking to Ronnie and to Shamari, and you know, both had their glasses on and shades on. They just seem so unified. And I'm not saying it's perfect or anything like that. I'm just saying in a sense of, you know, they've done a lot of years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've done a lot of years, and even when the way that she's supporting him in episode 6, yeah, I just think, you know what? Someone put in the chat, we don't want to see them on any more relationship channels. You're absolutely right. No more. Counseling, therapy, trauma therapy. That's what we want to see you. No else. No more things. I don't want to see them getting broken up by reality TV. You know what I mean? I know the check's good, but let's leave it alone. All right? Yeah. Preserve your marriage.
If Yana was still around, they probably would have made it there before here. But,
probably. Yeah, that's fair.
Because what we seeing, we don't really see them having a real couples issue outside of that blockage. I think that really is the blockage that is carrying over into work and stuff, because sometimes when we grieve, some of us go more into our work. And that's probably what he does to mask his pain, is focus on work. And so that shows up as low intimacy for her. So, yeah, let's get that couple, that grievance counseling in.
Get them in, baby. Get them in. Get them in. Who next?
Let's get who we got? Shamari, Ronnie, and Michael and Rada.
Michael Rada.
Yeah. Let's get them out the way.
We really know what the situation is.
Hotness part 2. Hotness part 2. Can we see?
I don't see a problem with Michael Rada yet. Michael and Rada. Michael Rada, I'll tell you this now. Michael Rada. Rada now understands where he's coming from in terms of, like, he's not going to change. Okay. How do we know Michael's going to obey the rules if he didn't obey it the first time, please?
We don't. We know he's not.
He's not going to do it again. He was already trying to bend the rules when he was explaining the situation. Well, obviously, they've got to come to the party. And, you know, I don't want to be... They will have a good time. I said, when he started saying that, I said, Rada, if you decide you want to stay in this, you're a fool.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, we hear a bit of his background, what he went through, and he does have abandonment issues, so to speak, because his mom had went back and then left him in the hands of, sounds like, foster care. And, you know, what in America, we know that can be a good thing or it can be extremely bad thing. You know, a lot can happen in foster care. Of course, we also know that he was a late bloomer as far as being intimate with people, and he was an ugly duckling growing. Okay, he was an ugly duckling. Hush, my brain went somewhere else. Sorry. I was about to be rude.
I get it. Don't worry about that. You got it.
But he had his moment. He had his period where women was just not for him, and so he's out here and he's doing his thing and he's getting this attention, and he actually found a woman that does understand him, and that's hard for somebody to let go. You don't want to let that part of you, that one thing go, but I don't also want to let what I'm loved doing, which is being me, go either. And Rada has to understand that his freedom and his happiness weighs more than her. It's tough hearing, but sometimes when you really love a person, you have to understand and say, you know what, I love me as much too. And this is just not going to work. And we just need to be friends. And they could be friends with benefits until she finds somebody else. But she has to make that boundary for herself to say, hey, you know what? I need to still be open for what I want to. And until the day that you actually for real, seriously want to do this for real, I need to have my options open and allow whoever that really wants to give me my happiness come into my life. And if he don't want to agree to those terms, well then bye. Bye. We can both go be happy. But why sit in misery already? You already, I'm not going to say that you sat in misery through your first marriage. I don't know really what happened there, but obviously it didn't end well. So why do it all over again? He's not compromising himself, so why compromise yours? I would say if Michael was actually really giving you like real compromise on his part, then I would say keep trying at it some more. But he's not. He's standing 10 toes down in what he wants, and that's it. And he said it with a straight face in that chair. And you looked him in the eye and you told him you understand that he is not changing. I can guarantee you he did not blink. LRG.
You know what? Unfortunately, Rada just has fallen into a trap of being fearful of being alone. And that is kind of influencing her reasoning here at this moment. Like, it's like, babe, you can see that this brother, first of all, broke the rules last time. You lot writing up a contract's not going to change him doing that again, because the truth of the matter is he's got an insatiable hunger. An insatiable hunger that cannot be filled by you and by those women. Okay, he needs to go and do some healing. Seriously, I'm surprised actually he got away with a lot this season, because he needs serious therapy, right? Because there's broken parts of him that he hasn't mended yet, which is why he's out here in them streets, okay, wanting one woman every single month. Okay, listen, I'm sure every man would love to have maybe an arrangement for a short while, but to keep it going consistently, bro, you gonna feel some type of way. Like, after a while, it gets boring. You know what I mean? It really does get boring trying to have your cake and eat every single time, because, like I said, after a while, it's not the sex itself that it is what it's feeding. It's a validation for something within yourself. And so Michael needs to do some serious healing. We knew this from the last season. How he got away with it this season, we didn't see it much. He needs healing. Yeah. He needs to be sitting down on a bench and doing some work upon himself so he can heal. Listen, you don't have to stay with Rada at the end of it. You can maybe go somewhere else if you want to, but at least let's do that work so we can begin to work on your health emotionally, because I think it needs some work on. And then Rada too, baby, I'm looking at you like you knew the truth from beforehand. You come on here, you're complaining, and you're going back again.
Right.
You haven't learned anything from last time about your value. You haven't learned about the fact that you need your value is more than, just this relationship, this little. And then you go and get proposed to again. The first one didn't even count. So how are we doing the second one? You know what I mean?
Shut up again.
Like, you just can't. You mean you're back on the cycle again? That easy? He put you back on the cycle, and you're excited about the ring that he's gone and got you.
This time you ain't even got the contract. Like, you ain't even got no boundaries, no nothing this time. He just gave you the ring this time, and you said okay. You didn't put no clause, no deal. You just said this time that's it. That means nothing. To a person, to a cheater, that means, okay, I just still don't get caught.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, that's what he is. He just found somebody that he can cheat out loud with. That, as they would say, let him cheat in peace. This is what cheating in peace looks like. Him being honest and saying that I'm doing these things makes it feel good. But deep down inside, it only feels good to somebody that is used to a polygamous life or doesn't really care themselves. Rada doesn't want that. Deep down inside, Rada does not want that. Otherwise, she wouldn't be complaining about him going with the girls once a month, them taking him out or whatever. Your whole thing was, I got the ring, I'm his main one, but I want to be his only one. It's not going to work for him. And me kind of knowing his past, he had a only one relationship that he was cheating on then. So you gave him the open door to do whatever. He's not going to get better. And coming from a person who has dealt with one of those relationships too, even his honesty is still a lie. Like, even that honesty is still a lie. Like, he's still doing things that you don't know about.
That's pure game.
There's people that you don't know about. There's always going to be this person in the background that he's going to keep a secret. It's not going to stop. Unfortunately, it's only going to get worse, and the disrespect is going to get worse. So, like I said with Claudia and KJ, if you love it, I like it.
What can we say? What can we say? Like, what could we say? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, truth of the matter is, Michael was just saying he's going to stick to this routine, this lifestyle. For him, he's going to stick to it. And for me, Rada's trying to scramble for some little bit of control in the scenario by saying, these are the rules. You get one girl a month. But even the rules was changing. He said one girl now at least. I don't know if he actually heard it. He actually said one girl a month at least. And he said, oh, I can't be in the room alone with that girl, whatever, based on Rada's rules. So actually, I need two girls. Like, he's always going to bend it, because originally, when you gave him the rules, he broke it. A man broke a rule when you gave him a freedom to do so. You think he's not going to break it again? Right? You think he's going to break it again? He's going to break it again and again and again, because he knows there are no consequences for his actions when he breaks them. Mm-hmm. So, in the same fashion, by her saying, obviously, yeah, these are the contract. He don't care about no contract. He gonna get home. That contract will tear up. In his mindset, he will not care about the contract, because, in all honesty, when you were supposed to leave, you didn't leave. When you were supposed to say, I don't want to do this no more, you were supposed to be gone and gone for good, but you didn't. Mm-hmm. You don't think you're gonna always come back.
Yeah,
always.
And let's clarify this part too, that these are not randoms. She said it herself. These are not random women. So you're kind of, for me to see you once a month, once a year, or whatever the case may be, or whenever I'm in your town, because that's kind of like the way he set it up. So it's 12 different girls or whatever, but it's like whenever I'm in your town. So I can be in your town a couple of times a month. You're my local girlfriend. You're having conversations with these people for them to even stay around and deal with you. They, like, these are concubines. You're a concubine. So if that's not what you want to be, exit stage left, or stop crying about what he's doing. Like, really. The only rule at this point you can do is try to make it like you're in Dubai or something and say, hey, look, in order for them to come into our relationship, you got to run it by me. That's the only rule you can do at this point, and hope he does that one. That's the only real rule. So either accept it or hush your mouth, or just leave.
I'm with you on that. Let the man cheat in peace. That's my thought. Let the man cheat in peace. Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll leave them then, because I think there wasn't much there. We knew that from season 1 they needed help on that. Who are we doing next?
Let's do Shamari and Ronnie.
Yeah.
Just before. You know, we had some good talks on Shamari and Ronnie on the back end because there's a lot there.
Oh, there's a lot. There is a lot in that one. There's a big one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Shamari and Ronnie. What's your thoughts?
We've both been cheated on before, so we know how it feels. And I don't know if you ever taken somebody back that you've been cheated on, but I have. That's a very, very hard road to go down. And it takes both of you to heal that. It doesn't just take that person, or it doesn't just take you. It takes both of you guys working in unison to heal that. And Shamari kind of gives me those vibes that the person that does do the cheating gives. Oh, I'm over that. Why are you still on it? We're past that. Why are you still on it? You know, and the truth is, when you hurt me, you can't tell me how fast I'm supposed to heal. And if you keep picking at the scab before it's healed, it's never going to heal. Her drinking picks at his scab. If you're acting this way in my presence while intoxicated, I can only imagine what you're doing out with the girls. If you're this bold to literally do this in my face, I can only imagine on your girls' trip what you're doing. So I can't let you out of my sight because I don't want to be stupid for letting you back in my life, giving you a second chance to repeat the same mistake. So that's why I said it takes both of them. It's going to take her reassuring him through actions. And one way to do that is to stop the thing that's making you uninhibited, which is the drinking. You can say you don't have a drinking problem and all that stuff, but the problem comes when you drink. You might not be an alcoholic, but the problem comes when you drink. So you might want to control that to where it's like, oh, I can have a few drinks, but I'm not let me get too tipsy. Not let me go overboard. Or if you can't even have those few drinks, you don't know your limit, you don't need to have any at all. Just being honest, like you probably don't need to have any at all. So your man can have the reassurance of the trust that he needs in this relationship to say, I made the right decision. I don't know, like if you cheat on me and you start doing the same moves that you did before you cheated on me, I'm triggered like every single time. I'm on edge every single time. I can't sleep. I'm ready to start trying to go through phones and doing all this craziness that helped me find out the first time. My trust is gone. And I was surprised that was the third thing he mentioned with AJ was the trust thing, because that's really his number one. I hate to say it, but he don't trust his wife.
I don't blame him.
You know, me and you had talked about it. It's like that what's in you, that infliction that's in you, that like for girls, that like for women, that's in you. You could mask it, you could push it down all you want, but it is in you. And you could say you're playing. Like, yes, me and my girlfriends, we play, we do all these little things, but I don't need the alcohol to do it. Because we're playing. That's when we're playing. I can focus on my man when my friends are around. I'm not going to focus on another couple's body parts while my man is sitting here romancing me. And I wonder if she just understood if the shoes was reversed. How would she feel in that moment? You're trying to romance your man, and he over here like, ooh, baby, Rada, yes. Yes, baby, I see you in the hills, baby. Yes, girl. Oh, okay, I see you, KJ. Oh, that's you? That's you, little mama, that's you? Oh, okay, like, just really sit back. I'm not messing with that. I don't want no female. I don't want that. You saying that don't mean nothing when your actions keep doing the most. You felt on this one booty. You felt on that one booty. You keep talking about her butt. You keep talking about what you would be doing. It was cute before you cheated on me. It was cute. Now it's a damn problem. But go on, Code.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. Listen, I think Shamari showed her real. She showed her fangs, in previous episodes. When she got drunk, she showed her fangs, the way she insulted him and the way she came at him and the way she gaslighted him. She showed her fangs. There's a lot of healing that Shamari hasn't done. A lot of healing that she needs to go and do. I think with this particular, couple as well, Shamari's got an issue with women. She likes women. It's unfortunate, but I'm sorry. The drink is not about to start pushing you towards the way she was talking about Jess, and even the way she talked about whose bottom was she grabbing? She put Rada's even as well, right? That isn't a normal, oh, I grabbed my girl's bum or I grabbed my girl's breast. Some girls can, we girls can do that. That is not a normal what she was doing. She was really getting excited, trying to be almost turned on by these girls. And so I think that just triggered him to remind him again, she hasn't recovered and she's not going to recover because it's not going away. How she has an attraction towards same sex, I don't think it's going away. So to be honest, the biggest issue I have is the cover up over drinking. And do you know what? I realized something about Shamari as well too. She petty. She real petty, because as soon as the spotlight went onto her, she immediately flipped it onto Ronnie. Episode 8, when he came out and said, "Look, do you know what? I don't think I trust you because when I saw you talking about the girls, etc., I felt hurt." And she said, "I promise I'm not gonna hurt you again." Right? Got to the contracts. What did she do? I feel like everything has been about me. And you know what? How did I get here? Immediately she went into, well, I was ignored. I was this. I was that. I was like, babe, you could have brought that up earlier. Why did you wait till now? The reason why you waited till now is because you felt attacked. That's that same energy that she brought, coupled with when she was drinking, and she decided to tell him off. Because when he was saying, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?" Again, she flipped it. As soon as she feels that she's under attack, boom, that back against the wall, she begins to change the narrative. And so there is deeper, darker energy with Shamari that she needs to deal with. There's some pain rooted there that she needs to deal with. Forget even the fact that she likes women. There's a deeper darkness within herself that she needs to fix as well. A resentment that's there. I don't know whether that's parental or whatever. That's just to do with the marriage that they've been in or whatever. But she needs to deal with self. Okay, deal with self. You drinking should not bring that out of you. You know what I mean? I only got like that because I was drinking. I don't think you're deep in it. That means that your walls of discipline were eroded, meaning it's there, which means we should be dealing with it. We have to be dealing with it now. So yeah, when I saw that she flipped it at the end and was like, everything's about me. No. What about the fact that I said, oh, Shamari? Yeah, you know what? And my biggest issue with Shamari and Ronnie's situation is their gap in emotional intelligence. There's a gap. And usually it's women to men. Nope. This time round, the gap is with Ronnie, who's far more intelligently aware and trying to be more intelligible with his emotions. And Shamari is not. And I think he maybe is slightly overcompensating in their marriage as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So not to give her any grace. No, I give her grace, but not to give her any excuses or whatnot. But there is this. He was out a lot longer than her in her career. So he got his time to move around and do all that. When they came out shortly after these two were in a relationship, she was still young. So within that, you have somebody who is more of like a father figure to you, and we can see that still or whatnot. I don't know what her dynamic is with her actual father, but you have an older man who is now once a legend in the game who's older than you. So he has experience there already. He has experience in life as well. So you just have this overall experienced person and you're a naive little girl. You tend to play in that shadow for a very long time, and she's still there. And though she gives good wisdom and knowledge to some of the other people in the other couples, she doesn't see it for herself. And that's where she sees is there's the lacking of the emotional intelligence that you speak of. That's where we don't have the accountability to sit here and be aware how we are actually making our partner feel by some of the things that we're doing, or even enough to sit here and sit in a moment and truly say, you know what, maybe when I do get loose, this is how I am. And it's because part of me still, if you would admit that a part of you still likes women, that's what we'll have to start working on to fix that part of me in this relationship. But we won't be sitting here trying to make him feel like he's the problem. Oh, it started because he started doing this or that, or his trust issue is the reason why we have blockage and all these things like that. He has a genuine reason to have trust issues. He has a genuine reason. But if you admit to yourself that I do still crave women sometimes, when I see a woman, I go further than the little bit of appreciation and like, hey, sis, you got a nice body. Sometimes I want to feel on a woman. Like, if we can address that head on, then maybe we can start to get through the healing process together, because then we know how to sit there and say, okay, what do we have to do to get this out of your system? How do we move forward in this light now that you addressed it? You know, it's just like AA. The first thing is to once we get past denial, all the rest of it gets real easy. Because we know we can highlight, we pinpoint what the problem is. Okay, so this is the problem. How do we nullify that problem? What do we have to do? Do we got to get a whole third? Do I got to take up a whole second wife for you? Like, what do we have to do? Like, because I can't trust you with your friends right now. I can't trust you with the bottle. I can't trust you with your friends. I can't trust you on the TV show. I can't trust you nowhere. Like, you need to stay at home with the kids, and now you mad because you at home with the kids and you had no social life. So now we both mad.
No, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Honestly, I just think to myself as well. Like I said, there's a lot going on between the two of them, and you know, I think I said it from the very first episode. The way that Ronnie was talking so much to talk for them, I think he also is. I think he's covering for her in a sense of, when I say covering for her, in a sense of, I think he wants it to work. I think he wants to, you know, make things better. But I wonder if he's just slightly covering at this moment to kind of like, you know, the wanting of it to work so much, it's almost ignoring what is right in front of you. You know what I mean? Like, of course, we want to save marriages, want to make them work, but are you actually seeing what you're seeing in front of you? Are you actually paying attention to what's going on in front of you with your wife? Because now we need to have some real conversations now about the drinking aspect, you know, and how when she gets drunk, certain things are starting to happen for her. And I think, really honestly and truly, you know, she is a great girl. She is. She wants to get to love her husband. And actually, I think she said something like, I want to be, she said, I want to be faithful or something like to my husband. And I was like, but your husband is Ronnie. Why is the way she mentioned husband at that point in time? I was like, why didn't she just mention his name? I said, oh, that's a bit weird. I can't remember what part it was. She mentioned husband, something about being faithful to a husband or something like that, whatever. And so saying his name.
The weirdest thing in that, what you just said, and if that's verbatim, is I want to be faithful.
I think she changed. Oh no, she changed that, didn't she? She said at the very end, she said something different. So this is another part, but at the very end, she said, I will. I think I'll. What did she say? I will not. Something to do with not cheating or something like that. She said something like that, but she corrected herself. But I'm talking about, it was earlier on in the episode where she was talking about them two. She mentioned this part, and I was like, wait, why did she mention husband, the term husband, and not his actual name. It's almost as if she disassociated him from her.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, that's a bit weird. But it's I honestly think with Shamari, she's dealing with a whole host of issues, and until she tackles it heads on, it's gonna keep on leaking. It just keeps on leaking. Eventually, she
Mm.
will get with a woman because it's leaking, it's leaking, it's leaking, it's leaking every single time, and we're not actually dealing with the root cause. There are major issues at work with Shamari. She looks well put together, can give great advice, like you said, but that doesn't
Mhm.
mean that she's absent. She's absent from actually taking some great advice to be able to heal and move forward. Actually, Ronnie said something interesting. He said, when we first got here, we thought, what can they tell us? Because we already knew everything, because everybody had already said, we already met people who already said what we need to say already. But he said when he got here, he realized, okay, there were some great things he needed to learn. So clearly, they've had input already, and it's only done so much. But
Yeah.
he had never thought about the drinking aspect, which is really interesting as well. The fact that he never thought the drinking thing could be something else. But maybe I'm,
Another
maybe.
thing too, I think possibly she might, if she's not doing it already, she might just need to get outside solo counseling. The couples counseling is one thing, but I think individual counseling will really help her grow a lot more to be at least close to the same level, if not on the same level that he is emotionally. Because of course, sometimes when we go through these couple counseling, sometimes they are a little bit more biased to the woman. So, it doesn't help. And if you have a emotionally mature man already and she's not, all he's doing is bringing himself back down to her level to meet her where she's at. And I think that's that covering that you're speaking of. He's been doing that. He's just bringing himself back down to meet her where she's at instead of having her come up and meet him where he's at. And so he's overlooking a lot of those little things, like the drinking is possibly a problem. This is a problem. He's just like, oh, she's still younger than me. She just need to get that out. She just need a little more time. No, some of us do mature mentally a lot faster. And especially as a woman, we tend to, something is hindering that. Something is stopping that. And she needs to figure out what that is. And she might need to do it without him present. What up, brother? Oh, I was not
Oh
invited
shit!
to the red party, huh?
Oh, sorry.
Let me put some red. Let me put some red lips on.
What's
My
going on?
B. We say, Sean, you're right.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, we're just talking about Ronnie and Shamari, and just talking about their situation. What was your thoughts of them, man?
Yeah, no, I think it seems like they have a lot of work to do. I mean, I haven't watched everything as detailed as you and Jay, but from what I've seen from them, it just seems like there's still a lot of work to be done. And the sad part with them is, it's almost like they come off like they got it under control, and they're probably the worse off, because they really think they know what they're doing and they want to, be the advisors and telling folks how they should be doing, but really they've got old wounds that still aren't healed. There's still something going on, with Shamari and the women, so she needs to get that figured out, obviously. And I don't think they fully heal from the opening up their relationship. I think the damage is still there and it keeps coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you have people that don't want the same thing, it's hard to keep dragging the relationship along. And I don't think they both want the same thing. Just like Michael and Rada, they don't want the same thing. They want two different things, and that's okay. But when when one person's trying to drag another one through it, or somebody's trying to say, well, oh, let me see, there's going to be that resentment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Ronnie hasn't really shown a lot of resentment, but he starts to treat Shamari like she's a child, because she, unfortunately, is acting out like a child. So it's like he becomes a parent and not a partner, and that's not a good position to be in either. So he's always having to police her, always having to reel her in, and she's always feeling like she's going to act out. So that's the roles that they're going to constantly play in their relationship. So that's what I see with those two.
Do you want to jump back in, Jay?
Nah, shoot, Sean just shut it down because that was great right there. That is the roles they're gonna just keep jumping back into. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it play out with that couple's date night. I mean, the other couples had to basically tell her to go to the room after your man, like, and then she kind of like stormed off, like a little tantrum off, just to go to the room. Like, I get, like, are you serious?
Yeah.
And then, and even like you said, Coach, in that moment, she tried to blame it on him.
Yeah.
Why would you walk away from the dinner you made me? Like, sweetheart, did you not see how you were behaving? Yeah, Sean summed it up.
Yeah, there's a lack of accountability for her. I also think as well for her, like, I think Ronnie's done. You know, we said that Ronnie's covering for her. I think, you know, I think also as well. I think maybe there's because of him being so. Again, and it's the problem when you're self-aware and you be introspective, you tend to take things on as your problem. So, for instance, let's say, like I said about the cheating thing, maybe this, I think it sounds like there might be a little bit of guilt also in terms of maybe playing a role in opening up the marriage to a threesome, you know, or threesomes or whatever they were doing, you know, and maybe he's thinking to himself partly as well, I'm part to blame, so I'm part of the solution. Truth of the matter is, he only opened the door, she had to walk through it. So, you know, maybe I am the one that exposed her to this, and now, you know, she's here. It's partly my fault. I've got to try and rectify it. But to be honest, it reminds me a little bit, you know, the cover up. It reminded me actually when Michael Blackson did a question to them saying if about verbal abuse, and he said he said in response, oh, you know, it makes me wonder, like, am I missing some things here that I didn't realize that? And then he threw away the card. And I was like, yeah, there is some things you're missing, Ronnie, because I think you're covering a lot for Shamari, and nothing wrong with you supporting your wife and, so, you know, making sure that she's good. But when she is doing what she's doing, without there being good boundaries put in place and make sure that she knows that, listen, hey, like, maybe this is how I feel. And maybe you guys can talk about it, because he actually mentioned how he felt as well. You know, without there also being a place where you let her know, listen, this is not working for me, Shamari, when you behave like this. She gonna continue to do what she did. She gonna continue moving mad as she did. And then, like I said, when he actually told AJ about how he felt, I was surprised by AJ's response. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was surprised by AJ's response. I think AJ's normally on point, and look, well, human, no one's perfect. So, but when she said, obviously, she was trying to highlight how him giving cautious love is a betrayal. And I found problem with that. You know, I found a problem with that because how do you compare me not giving my fullest love cautiously due to me being hurt as a betrayal? You know what I mean? I got what she was trying to say. I do get that part. But it's just like, yeah, no.
I think in my head, I took it the other way around, as it was her betrayal, but she probably did say it in that manner. And I probably just took it as him looking at Shamari's action as betrayal. I don't know how he took it. And, you know, she probably did say it that wrong way. But yeah, I twisted it in my head, so it made sense. Yeah. Yeah, if she meant it how she said it and how you're saying it too, yeah, I can't see how him feeling hurt for what she's doing or losing trust in it a betrayal for her.
Well, I think that I just think that, you know, I think you know, like I said, everyone's got a part to play in everything. Do you know what I mean? I just felt like maybe the wording might not have been correct. But betrayal might not have been the right word she should have used. She used the word betrayal, but maybe betrayal shouldn't have been the word she used.
Unless it's because when she said, have you told her that? And that's what she meant by the betrayal of her not knowing. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know why she would have used that word in that moment or whatever.
I don't know either. Yeah. I just think it. And the reason why I say that is because of the way Ronnie is. He's going to process that. He's going to take that on. And he's really gonna think it's a betrayal, and it's like, no, bro, like, your reason rather, I wish AJ would have dealt with the root cause issue. He doesn't trust, and he feels hurt. The wounds are still live because he was reminded again of the fact his wife with women, right? That's what we should have been focusing on, not the fact that obviously he's given a cautious love in that is betrayal. I think the focus got shifted onto that. Maybe there was a larger conversation. Of course, it was probably longer than what we saw, but that focus on the betrayal aspect was like, wait, no. What should we focus on is the fact that, okay, if he is going to be showing that appreciation and love, is that healthy? Is that right? Should he be, is that where you should be? Why haven't you given that love? Why are you not able to give her your fullest love? That's what we should have been working on. And telling me it's a betrayal was like, I was like, no, AJ. I love you, AJ, but you know what I mean?
I mean, even telling you why you can't get that fullest love is kind of like, that's an obsolete question. Like, you already know why. I have trust issues. Like, it's hard to give somebody your full love when they broke your trust. Even when you're back in a good space, it's still a small part of you that is always going to be reserved for protecting yourself, so you don't feel that hurt again. So at this point, she can't look for full anymore, because until like that is totally erased out of his head, which is not going to happen anytime soon by any of her actions or whatnot, that's not going to, he can't give full. She full 90 or maybe a full 80, but it ain't about to be a full 100. So
yeah. All right, cool. Any more thoughts on Ronnie and Shamari before we move on? No. Fantastic. All right, cool. Who is next?
We got Daniel and Jess and Kiana
and you and Jess.
Ooh, baby.
Friends forever. We thank God. Friends forever. Okay. What's our thoughts on Daniel and Jess?
Go ahead, Sean. I've been here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jess knows what it is. I think sometimes we just need that train to come screaming at us with the horns loud before we really wake up, and I think this is what maybe hopefully the show was for her, because those two should not be together. They just seem ill-suited. I don't think he respects her a whole lot. And she just generally doesn't seem happy, right? Even when they were at the photo shoot, she was just undecided and very unhappy. And that part, if you're in that place in a relationship, the chances of all signs being clear for you to move forward and keep going is slim to none. So I think she knows what it is, and those two, yeah, it's a little sad watching them, because they, it definitely seems like a little bit of, I don't know if it's emotional abuse, I don't know what to call it, but it doesn't look healthy for Jess at all.
I think for me, the biggest thing with these two is, what kind of conversations are we having as friends? And so kind of like when I went back and watched 7, he did mention in his time with AJ that Jess knew about his childhood. And that's what he liked, and that's what he drew him closer to her. But granted, she knows about your childhood, but that still does not give you any right to talk the way you do to your friend. Treat your friend like this in front of strangers. I mean, these are people, some of her peers, so she more than likely we know she knows Michael and stuff, and she might have met other people in this group, but you don't know any of these people. So these people are strangers to you. So basically, in front of her friends, you embarrassed her almost every single chance that you got. And to me, if you were my so-called friend in the beginning, I would just cut you off at this point, because you really have no respect for me at all. Why you would feel comfortable enough to say half of the things that you were saying out of your mouth. And I don't know if it was nervous energy or what, that just constantly repeated itself because it did it more than one time. But there was so many things that you was just coming out of your mouth that you don't even say it to, even at this point where they're on the couch on final scene and she's kind of disgusted. She's over the day. She doesn't even care. And she asked him, so what do you think about last night? And he's like, oh, it felt great to get that off, you know, to really express myself and have people understand me. She said, well, what about you understanding other people? He said, I tried. It's like, you don't care about other people. You only care about you. And it's been showing through this whole season on, it's about how I feel, love languages. Well, I'm not in love with her. That's not about her. It's about you. This was the one moment that was about you, and you flipped it on her to make her look bad. You get into a fight with people that are actually trying to help you understand what you're doing in front of her. You know, you just somehow make everything about you. And I don't know if that's an insecurity. You can't even say that's an abandonment thing. That's more of an insecurity of on Jess's position in the relationship as far as acknowledgement and business goes. You're not equipped to handle a girl that has more attention and more fame than you. And that's what I just get out of it. Because this whole thing, even to the last table dinner, you had to make it a scene. There was no reason for you to get up in front of those people and tell them that you guys are leaving this as friends. They know, they were seeing it. I'm pretty sure, you know, it's written all over it. It didn't need to be addressed. Nobody else got up and said, hey, we made these rules. This is what we're going to do. So why did you get up? And like Claudia said in that moment, you continue to embarrass yourself. You're not embarrassing her at this point no more. Because it wasn't your decision. And we all know it wasn't your decision to be friends with her. And I just have to go back to episode 1 or 2, wherever it was, where he said he had this threesome. So you can have a threesome, but you can't be physical with the girl that you supposedly be in a relationship with. I don't know how you had the threesome if you can't be touching on her. You can't touch on one. So how are you interacting with 2 or multiple? You're cap. You don't like her. You want... To me, it was given off, I want the clout, I want the status, I want to be recognized from being around her. It's not, I want to be in a relationship with her. And it's kind of sucky that Jess keeps falling into these seemingly abusive relationships like this, where people are just using you. And she might have to stop making herself so vulnerable to people and really get back to loving herself as well. And I'm glad that she took this step to just say, you know what, let's just be friends. I don't want to do it. And I was glad that she was able to get it off of her chest in front of AJ, even when AJ and John Sally tried to stop her. I'm glad she stopped them. It was like, no, I need to say what I got to say because I've been letting this go on for too long. Everybody else has been my mouthpiece here. You need to hear from me. You hurt my feelings, point blank, period. Everything that comes out your mouth hurts my feelings as a friend. Not even as a girlfriend, as a friend, you hurt my feelings. So he should be glad that she want to just work on a friendship with him. Like, that's how I feel. Like, you should be glad she just even want to keep that with you. Because me, I'd have cut you all the way off. Like, we all the way good. I don't want to talk to you. Go heal in peace over there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with Daniel and Jess, you know, Daniel has, I think, several components of issues that are going on. You know, I guess when he told us a story about his mother, there's rejection there, there's abandonment there. You know, and I think those two mixes there are playing with Jess. I think also the fact that Jess, Daniel wants intimacy but can't take intimacy. So there's that self-sabotage that he does. He self-sabotages, you know. As soon as there's an intimacy mentioned, he gets mean. As soon as an intimacy is presented, he gets mean. And we saw that throughout the whole entire season. We were talking about this actually the other day on the Kenneth Live, talking about anxious of what this is anxious. This sounds like this that either disorganized or anxious attachment style where you actually reject the you actually reject go and reject you come and rejecting the the intimacy that you're craving. And so my biggest thing is this: what the frick did Jess see in 5 years of friendship with him that she didn't see this stuff? Which this tells me that Jess needs to open her freaking eyes completely. Because 5 years of being someone's friend, I'm gonna know this stuff. I'm gonna know some stuff. I'd have paid attention to some stuff. In 5 years, I'd have seen women come and go. Telling me he didn't tell you stories. Telling me he didn't hear some of the stuff that he was going through. Like you would know, like if you spent 5 years with someone. I think you'll more probably just know of each other rather than actually knowing, but as friends, but they put it as friends. And then, I think, just Daniel is, for me, sounds like somebody who's begging for attention. And it makes sense because your mom never gave it to you, right? So it sounds like you're craving it and clawing it. And that speech at the very end, not necessarily. Not necessarily, because you know that you didn't make the decision. So why did you put it that way? Why not just say, like, you know what, Jess decided on her own merit and fair play to her because you know what? Da-da-da. No, you said we decided. You didn't anything. You were not given a choice. you were not in the choices when it came down to this particular subject. And so that last minute apology for me, yeah, I get it. I embarrassed you in front of all your girls. I want to apologize, and in front of everybody because the same people that I disrespected. I was like, yeah, bro, they don't need that though. We didn't need it. We didn't need that whole conversation at the end where you stood up and made it all about a Daniel show, because that's what it really became. It had nothing to do with Jess. You didn't consult Jess before mentioning this. It was all about you. And I just realized, okay, so that's what you've been doing in a relationship as well. It's been all about me, all about me, all about me. And there's only so much we can take of. It's only about me. And so I'm glad that Jess made the decision to choose friendship. I hope that friendship luck off, though. I hope it luck up. Yeah, I hope the doors are shut. I hope the Lamborghini doors don't swing open. Listen, I hope it just stays shut because they don't even need to be friends. Because if you're a friend, you can't do me that dirty. The way you did it. I get it, you're hurting, but you did me so dirty. That's madness. Yeah, I'm not about that life. Sorry, Sean, you were gonna open your mic earlier on, and I kind of jumped in. What were you saying?
Yeah, pretty much what you were saying around the whole friendship piece, and I just feel like, did she do the self work, or will she do the self work so that the door is closed, so that she doesn't find herself back with him or another person that shows up just like he does. So, I think as much as we can acknowledge his behavior, she also has to look inwardly and see what's attracting her to people like that and why she tolerates the behavior. And she would literally get on a show with this guy, take him on the show to a couples retreat. From when he said, "But I don't love her," that to me, that's enough. Like that right there is like you have disrespected her on how many fronts, you know? I don't know if you watch Love and Marriage Huntsville, but the previous episode, Martell was fussing with his uncle, and he was like, "We on national TV," and that's what I was thinking about with when he made that comment. It's like, "We on national TV. This is where you gonna make this." You could have, she clearly knows he don't love her. That's not a mystery. The whole world don't have to know, bro. Like that's not a friendship, right? Like you protect your friends. Forget about someone you're in a relationship with. There was no coverage, no nothing. Just want to make it very plain. So I just think like there shouldn't we don't even need to play and pretend like we're gonna be friends. I don't wish you any harm, but I don't think we need to be in each other's lives in any capacity. Friendship, acquaintance, nothing. Godspeed and good night. That's what I would wish for her, because it sounds like they could wind right back up in that toxic spin cycle in a couple of weeks. Maybe he exercises a little bit of contrition and comes back with like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize how much it is." And she starts feeling like there's a hope for something more. I really want for her to not entertain him anymore.
Same. I feel you. I do. I do agree. Like, we can point fingers at him because he was an easy target, but we know her past. Like she said, she was with Country Wayne, who was married. You know, her first, when she was first introduced to the world, she was with somebody, and that went public, and it was a ish show all the way down to the T. You know what I'm saying? So her track record right now is not very strong on picking suitable men in her life. So I do hope and pray that she does take this time to find what it is that is off in her that is attracting these people. And I mean, like somebody said in the comments, she does come off as a very likable, nice person, but that makes you fresh prey to predators, to manipulators, to narcissists, to, you know, people that just don't want the good in you. They don't want to do anything good. They just see you as usable goods. And that's unfortunately what she has become. Because all of these men are sitting here trying to use her for their own gain. Because I'm not going to mention, but I had noticed even with Daniel here, there's certain things he's been wearing this whole thing, and I'm going to assume that is his product because it's been the same line of stuff. So you're on here to showcase yourself right now. So you're going to make sure you make a scene, whether it's good or bad, on her. As a friend, you did no covering of this woman. As a friend, so why would I want you as a partner? So if she does fall back in that spin cycle, Sean, I really feel bad, because it's like, this man has showed you he can't even love you as a friend. That's the bare minimum. That's the baseline for a relationship. So if you can't do that right, so yeah, she need to go heal herself.
Yeah, I definitely hear you on that. I think it just, there's some work just needs to do. She did mention about her background and saying she actually didn't have the greatest background. You know what I mean, in terms of parents not wanting her or something like that. You know, there were some issues there, so that's probably why she has a distorted view on love. I think she didn't have parents. I think when she grew up, she didn't have her actual parents.
No, those people that she has all on her page is not her real parents, because
yes,
if they're not her real parents, they've been showing her mad love though. Because the person that she's her dad and her mom is a deacon or something like that.
Okay.
All up and through, and they're still together. They're still a functioning couple. So
I know she said that she didn't really have the greatest upbringing and she didn't feel the love. So maybe that's why she's with someone like Daniel. You know what I mean? That starvation for love can draw people to dry wells. So, you know, unfortunately, Daniel has become a dry well in the way he presented himself. And the excuses of the lights were on me, that's why I moved mad, is not a good excuse. Tell the truth, sir. You know, tell the truth as why that this relationship did not go the way you wanted it to go, Daniel. It's because you just weren't ready for it. You weren't ready for it. You didn't want it. And also you need to do some healing. You know what I mean? So yeah, for me, just the Jess situation with Daniel, I'm tired for them. I'm like, girl, choose friend and block. Choose friend and block and get on with life. Don't let him come back in, friend or no friend. We don't need it as a friend. There's nothing friendship about what happened on the show. So I don't. Maybe it was a nice statement she made just to kind of quell things, but there is no step down to friendship. Once you've been in that relationship, we ain't gonna offer anything as friends. It's just gonna make things difficult and weird. If we're gonna go together as a friendship, y'all need to. I mean, if you're gonna go together in a relationship, you should go to therapy. Because that's exactly what needs to happen. And he needs to go individual therapy. You go your individual therapy, then we can make it work. But other than that, this is going to be a plane crash ride. Because to be honest, looking at Jess and Daniel, Jess wants to be loved. Daniel does not know how to love, but knows how to take the mick out of her. You know what I mean? It's not cute. It's not cute. It's not cute. All right, cool. That's what the last couple, I believe it is, Nick and Kiona. So the final one of the night. Yes, Nick and Kiona. Forgiveness is not all. I mean, saying apology does not always mean reconciliation. What is your thoughts on Kiona and Nick? Jay's all smiley. What's going on, Jay? What's going on?
Okay, real life. Nick is my boy. You know what I'm saying? I got mad love, and I was glad that him and her got back together. You know what I'm saying? But Nick has made lots of mistakes in the past that has tarnished this relationship, and we could see it. And honestly, when he wanted the forgiveness, I was glad she said no. And the real reason I'm glad she said no is it's like, you know, you're still hurting. You can't even look at him. You cannot even look at this man in any of the moments. Every time he gets to telling you he's a sorry, he's this, he's that, she's always looking away. And I know it's because he's lied in her face before. And just look at a person that's lied to you before, it just hurts you even more. You really want to rage out on that person. You want to do so many other things, and it's harder just to say okay with it. So I commend her for not forgiving in that moment and being honest and saying, I don't forgive you, because she really doesn't have to right now. And you don't want to give the person that false seed that's saying, I forgive you, and you really don't. You need your time to heal. Take your time to heal. You forgive him when you really feel you are ready. Because a person apologizes to you does not mean you have to accept the apology. And I really commend her for being honest in that moment and saying, I'm just not there yet. You know, there's a lot of things that they still need to work on. She littles herself every time Nick is around. What is that about? Why do you have to feed into his ego and insecurity so much that you bring yourself all the way down to where you don't even talk when he's around? You can't highlight nothing about yourself when he's around. He makes you feel like you're changing because you want to better yourself. And as much as I love Nick, it's like, brother, basketball is over with. He didn't have a baby with Iggy. So that's one thing. He didn't have no other outside children. All his children is with Kiona. But he did have a relationship. He had a full-on relationship with Iggy. Yeah, moved in and everything. They was living together and everything. So like full-on relationship with her. But basketball was not your whole life. And it's kind of like the Chris and Monique situation where you need to find your happiness outside of your sport. Go find yourself outside of your sport. I understand a lot of times when we've been playing basketball, we've been playing our sport since we was yay high and all of these things. This is all we know. But you need to understand that was going to come to an end someday. You got to find something else. Right now, you can put, if you love your basketball so much, you got boys. You could put that into your boys. You can even put it into your daughter. You know what I'm saying? You can spend all of that time playing with them. Basketball. You can spend more time finding a coaching job, ESPN. You can do a whole bunch of things that's still in your field, but wrapping yourself so much into your woman to the point that she can't better herself is not the goal. Because she's already put all of herself to the side to raise your children, to stand by you through all your BS. Now, the one time she wants to step out and do something for herself, you're making her feel bad about that. Worst thing you can be doing right now, because you're making her resent you. If she didn't resent you before, now you are making her resent you. This woman can't look you in the face for anything. That one-on-one share session, every couple managed to look at each other in the eye for at least a second. She looked to the side the whole entire time and literally was sitting there shaking, trying to fight back the tears from coming down her face. There's so much pain in her that you have to help fix. And you're not helping by hindering her growth, by not just giving her that little bit of support that she needs to make her dreams come true. Because you're so busy being scared that once she gets her feet on the ground and she get herself together, she's going to leave you. That's the craziest thing. She's been through with you through all of this. So why are you so pressed? Get yourself together. Make sure that you are the man that she still desires by the time she finishes everything she's doing, by showing her that you're going to be her support when she needs you. You're going to be there for her kids when she needs you. You're going to have your stuff aligned and everything. And you guys are going to be a power couple now that she got her stuff together as well. That's what you do in this moment. Don't take away from her any more than you already did. And I'll land there.
Appreciate it. Sean, what's your thoughts?
And on just to add on to what Jay was saying, I think the good thing about the two of them is that, from what I've seen with Nick, at least there's some vulnerability there, you know, where he's at least willing to talk about what led him to some of the past mistakes, and him admitting that he was so wrapped up in basketball, and when he didn't have that, it just, you know, messed up his decision making, and it messed up the way that he was lashing out, the way that he was handling their relationship, rather, and he started to lash out, right? And I think that sometimes it's like people become self-sabotagers, and that's what I kind of see with him. It's like he loves her so much and sees the value and everything that she brings to the table, but because he's so scared of what's next for himself, he's just going to sabotage the one thing that's most important to him. And it's that fear that can be dangerous and cause you to do things that are destructive. And in this instance, it's going to, you know, it's putting his relationship with Kiana in jeopardy. So I think I'm glad to see that he was vulnerable and open and talking about, you know, his feelings, because that's a big deal. You know, just to just talk through it, because sometimes people are just doing and they don't spend the time working on why they're doing what they're doing. So that part I do like, that he was able to kind of just be open and vulnerable. And now he just has to do the work. Like AJ said, it's like, now you got to do the work. You know what it is, which is great. And that's a good position to be in. But now you got to do the work and try to work on fixing some of the damage that you've done, as well as fixing yourself to be better, so you don't make those same decisions down the line. That's how I see it.
Yeah. So for me, Nick and Kiona, interesting couple. Nick is someone who wants to have an argument and then, you know, recover very, really quickly, right? And this is coming not necessarily because, you know, there's a thing called recovery time. So whenever people have arguments, people have different recovery times. Some people like immediate. Some people like to recover from an argument really, really quickly, and some need to take a little bit more time to process what's happened and then come back a few hours later. Now, if you're taking days to recover from an argument, yeah, relationships might not be the one for you. But you know, with Nick, he wants really, really, really quick recoveries. And the thing is, I think the issue that we're having here is that the gravity of the topics that have been discussed in terms of some of the arguments they've had can't have a quick recovery. He wants it to be over and done with quickly. He doesn't like being in that place where they're uncertain. I think that puts some fear in him. I think, like he said, it's like she's going to leave me. And what you realize is that fear now is becoming control. Look how when she says she wants to go to school and go and do her books, it's become a problem for him, right? Not necessarily that he's a controlling person, but the fear of she'll upgrade and leave me. Because now basketball is actually over. Who am I, really? Well, how have I built my identity? You know, what's my foundation of my identity? Because now I no longer hoop. I'm no longer great. You know what I mean? So now what's left? It's just Nick. And is Nick enough to hold Kiona? Not only just that, I've made mad mistakes. But the issue with Nick's mistakes is not the mistakes itself, it's how he's handled it after. It's almost as if the slate should be wiped clean just because those things happened some time back. But you never dealt with the initial things that happened. I think it's the first time it kind of took a bit more accountability. And that's progress. Going forward, you know what I'm saying? That's progress in terms of him taking more accountability and actually seeing that she was hurt and always seen her as being strong. Again, that was a beautiful piece as well, because I think, again, it's a lesson to learn for us as people. Do I see you as too strong sometimes that, I don't want to help you, or I see you as too strong that I don't ask questions about how you're actually feeling, for her, she has been unseen and unheard for a very, very long time. And she's been struggling to try and find her voice. That's the biggest issue for her too. She's not been able to push back because she hasn't got a voice. So he's literally had total domination in this relationship. And when the power begins to shift, where the person's like, it's almost like when your kid learns the word no. It's like, that's warfare. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, go and take this. No. You ain't saying no because you want to say no. You say no because you just learned the word. You better behave. But it's like the same thing. It's like that, almost that fear that, okay, you're becoming autonomous. You're becoming on your own. That you could get things done. You don't necessarily need me. And that fear begins to kind of emanate through all his actions. So we saw also that kind of quick recovery issue on the boat when Styles P was talking to him, and then he went on to talk to Kiona, and he wanted to make it into a joke almost and be like, yo, like, it's, it was a joke, like, let it go. And she's like, no, like, this is what you always do. And she mentioned something in that chat in episode 7 where she said, oh, you know what? The reason why she's not accepting an apology is because you've kind of said these things similarly enough, but you don't necessarily follow through. So it's almost like for her, she's like, I've seen this before. I don't want to have to deal with this again. So I get it again. I get it with Kiona. I get it. I get it with Kiona. Kiona is trying her best. Kiona's trying her best to reconcile some of the damage that's been done to her over the past few years. And even on this trip, when she tried to bring up her voice, he's quietened her down in a very subtle way, but he's quietened her down. And so, yeah, I think she is on a new path now. And, irrespective of whether they stay together or not, she should continue on that path as well. She needs to grow. Go for it, Jay.
It is crazy that it's not just that he subtly does it, his presence quieted down. Even AJ had to tell her, don't lose this person in front of me right now once he walks through this door. And she did still. Like he came in and took over her session. So it's she has to find her place besides him. She has to find her place besides him somewhere. Instead of being in his shadow, she has to come from that place. And he's not letting her. So she's going to kind of have to just force it a bit. And there was another thing too, that it was just that where he said, I want to make sure that I have like what my dad has, that certainty. And it's like, how much longer? How much longer? Those type of things will keep pushing her back. When she makes those steps forward, those things knock her back. When you say those type of things to a person that has been standing by you through all your BS, you just knocked her all the way back down. So like, you're not doing yourself any favors when you do these things. Like, you want to be with her, you gave her the ring or whatnot. So let's just make the strides forward on how to progress as far as growing ourselves in our new atmosphere, which is outside of basketball, which is outside of Nick's shadow, standing next to each other as partners, as parents, as a couple. How do we continue to bring each other up instead of holding each other down? Because until he finds himself, he wants to keep her down there. And she's going to let him until she resents him. So before we get there, I think you guys just need to figure out as individuals, and we've been saying this for all the couples tonight, but as individuals, where do you fit in this world by yourself?
You know what? Also, as well, as you said something, it just sparks my mind. Nick twice in the moments where they were talking about Kiona's feelings and everything like that, twice overtook the conversation with how he felt. The conversation with AJ and then the secrets conversation, he took over. Like he started explaining how he felt at the time, and that is those things that Kiona is gonna have to actually nip it in the bud, because if you don't, you're never gonna get your point across. Like, you're seeing two different Kionas, as AJ said. Reason being is because she's trying to cater for him. Like, even when she was telling her part of the story and getting her point across, it was getting more understanding of her. It didn't take long before Nick is doing, and I get it. It was an emotional scene because we're talking about real stuff with Nick. But it didn't take long before the tears are coming up and as soon as that happened, Kiona then had to try and adjust herself for how he felt in that moment. Again, stopping her conversational piece about how she felt towards him, and then doing that at the secret parlor, the same thing. It's whenever it's almost how do I say it? I don't know how to best kind of describe it, but for me, it's just like you leave no room for Kiona to be able to express herself fully. Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean. Like, she's not able to do that without you shutting it down subtly, passively aggressively, in a sense. That's what it felt like a little bit.
He's kind of like Shamari in a way too, where he doesn't realize his impact on his partner. Because AJ even had to bring it up to him. Do you even notice that she doesn't look at you? It's like you're staring at her the whole time. How do you not notice that she doesn't look at you when you guys are having conversation? She cannot look at you. Because like I said, once you have run me through the mud, it is hard for me. Eye contact is a sign of respect. And right now, she has no more respect for him. And I think that's possibly why he does fight so hard to keep her in this space that she's in or whatnot, which is a very unhealthy space for the whole family as a unit. But it gives him a sense of respect, but she don't have it because of all the damage he's done. And so what he needs to do is actually just put in that work like Shamari needs to do, because you made the mistake. You publicly did these things and humiliate her. It's going to take you really putting in the work to show her and prove to her why it's you she should be choosing. Right now, it's more of a default for the kids. And that's just the honest truth. She's their default for the kids. You have to prove to her again why you guys fell in love in the first place, why you should still be in love, and why should you go forward with this relationship. This is also why that she doesn't want to have sex with you, because it partially reminds her of all the indiscretions that you did in the past. You have to earn all of that back. I'm sorry. You're going to have to start all over. You're going to just have to start all over dating and courting and just letting her breathe. In high school, we had moments that we can breathe. I see you when I got to school. I got the jitters when I see you at school, and then I go home and I breathe. I did what I did while you was playing basketball and all this stuff. She needs that time. You're going to have to take the kids for some weekends, give her some spa days, some mommy days, some this things alone so she can miss you guys. Then she wants to touch you. Then she wants to, and just like AJ say, it wouldn't be a Wednesday thing. She can't keep her hands off of you because she missed you so much. She feels she's a full-time mom. She's a full-time student. I don't have time to be a full-time girlfriend too if you're not helping me. I need that help. We work full-time jobs, and sometimes you got your little situation. You be like, shoot, okay, yeah, we're gonna do something tonight, but like, like, oops, I'm sorry. Like, I swear I promise I was gonna do something. Wake me. Give me a cat nap, please. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was asleep. I was talking to you and I fell asleep in the middle of the conversation. Like, it gets hard. So he needs to relieve some of that stress for her and just put her back in the mindset of, we are starting all over. This is brand new. I know you're not going to forget, but let's try to wipe the slate clean as possible. Start all over and let me love the person you are today, not the person you was. And that would actually probably help. That'll help them both grow in the right direction, the direction he wants to be in. He do want to be with her. He ultimately does it. Sometimes he might need to close his mouth. Stop talking like Daniel. But him just coming back. Yeah, just him coming back from after his dad's situation. They didn't have to come back, but he wanted to come back. So that means he wants this to work. He just has to put in the work, like Sean says. Now it's time. So.
Yeah, I mean, just as well, I think he said it was obviously that, he saw his dad and he was like, he wanted to be in a situation in the future where, she's by his side or whatever, and I was just like, yeah, I love that. Beautiful. But it's about the work that you do now. It's about the work that you put into it now. Like I said, I think he realizes how much she does for him, and for the household and, for the general populace of the family. And he wants to keep her. But the truth of the matter is, without that work, this ain't going to last long. You're absolutely right. She needs some days where she can rest. As she said, she needed 2 days. She can do some focus on her studies and focus on just being her, and him just take over with the kids a little bit, because it's a partnership. And I think in this particular instance where Nick is, bro, look, you wanted to make it work with your wife. You wanted to give you the good sex you need. You're going to have to build that up. You're going to have to, like, as Jay was saying, earn that trust back by taking time and actually be invested in what she's involved in. And don't just leave her to kind of fester. There's so much work he has to do in terms of undoing all that he's already done. That it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time for her to heal and just kind of just forgive and move forward. It's going to take some time. Hopefully that time they're still together, but it probably might not be. She said she's ready. She's ready to go and bounce if he needs to. And I was like, whoa, sister's ready, but even with the 4 kids, bruh. Old girl has said, like, this is the last ride, bruv. So I'm not about to do this with you all the way through again another 10 years or so. But I really think as well with Nick, if he can just get out his own way, stop making conversations funny and actually be real with it and actually listen to what she's saying and vice versa, he'll get so much further. So much further. And the fear that he feels, anxiety will go down. There's just anxiety because you know that if she changes, she might not want you no more. You may not fit the mold, but then change with her in terms of growing, doing the work. Let's see that impetus and motivation that you have. You know what I mean?
One last thing too.
Go for it.
Just stop having that fear of letting that person go. I used to live by that saying, if you love somebody, let them go. If they come back to you, they're yours. So just let her go. Because once you guys let each other go, you guys grow or whatnot, you might grow back to each other. So sometimes you got to just take that risk of actually losing that person. You took the risk when you cheated. When you moved on, you took the risk then. So now that all your cars and all your money is on the table, you don't want to take the risk? No, bet it all. Bet it all on her this time. Bet it all on her that she'll come back. Let her go. It's going to be hard and it's not going to be easy or whatever, but you might just have to just let her go. Let her find her way and she might come back. In that meantime, work on yourself. Get on mute.
I was saying the moral of the show, you know what I mean? It's a moral of that show. People need to do the personal work themselves. So absolutely. Well, listen, Jay, let me let you round up because Sean normally is the one that rounds up, but he doesn't seem to be here. So you can round up, give us a little quick round down.
Jess, thank you, Chick, for teaching us that we ain't got to stand by the BS forever. If they show you who they was once, run with it. You know what I'm saying? He showed us and we gone with that. We don't need to do it anymore. Rada and Michael, good luck. That's all I can say to you two. Good luck, Godspeed. KJ and Claudia, you two really do need to take your time and work on stuff. Claudia, especially, you got a lot that you got to unpack, because when you do not have that love for yourself to know your worth and feel worthy of love, it's going to make it really difficult for anybody to love you. So I really think that you need to unpack a lot of that baggage so that love can move in. Shamari and Ronnie, listen, you two, y'all gonna fight for each other. I'm never mad for the fight for each other. It's better to fight for each other than fight against each other. But you guys still got a lot of things that you guys need to address to like really have a sit down situation and get to the bottom of what it is that is in the middle of your relationship, because there's a few things that's there. And if you guys don't address it, it's just going to continue to get worse. And really, we don't want to see no more of y'all back on these shows at all. So please let this be the last time. I know couples therapy don't stop. You don't stop having therapy, but we don't want to see you back on the screen going over the same problems like that other couple. Ajawa and Styles, grief counseling, please just really, really go take care of that. Like I said, I can't speak on how that feels to lose a child at all. I don't ever want to speak on that. Kudos to you guys, but really get that grief counseling, really, really get that cry out. God is always there to listen. So just talk to him about it, and one day soon you'll see your baby again. Trust and believe in that. Find your way back to him, and he'll find your way to your daughter. Trust and believe that. Nick and Kiana, Nick, get out of your way. Get out of her way. Get out the way, damn it. Be in your kids' way. Like, get on their nerves. You know what I'm saying? Don't get on her nerves. Get on your kids' nerves. Give her space. Give her whatever it is that she needs to grow. And in that meantime, go grow yourself. The moral of the story of this whole thing is self-love, loving yourself, and bettering yourself for your partner, whether it is the one you currently have or a future one. And that goes for everybody out there. Peace, love, and blessings to you all. And, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't already, by the way. And his other channel, Dark Arts, as well.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Jay. It's saving me. Listen, audience members, thank you so much, Jay. Thank you, and Sean as well. It was good to have you guys on this. There's more shows I will obviously be doing in the next few weeks as well. So, look at Sean. So yeah, there'll be more shows that we're coming up that we'll start reviewing, because I think this is now over now, isn't it? This one's now over. Someone recommended to me College Hill, so apparently that's a good show. I don't know. I'll get onto it if you're watching. Jay, are you watching that show?
I haven't watched it yet. I told you I was trying to not buy another thing, but I guess I will get that.
It is what it is, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Sean said it's pretty good. What doesn't Sean watch?
Yeah, Sean is watching it already. He said it's good. I've heard reviews on it, so it is good. I know, Sean. I need to stop being cheap. $4, I can do it.
$3.99. $3.99.
I'm canceling as soon as the show over. No, just as soon as this and Martin reunion is over, I'm done.
Listen, they need to start paying for that. It's calm. But yeah, okay, cool. So then, like I said, we'll look for a new show, and we'll start talking about those shows as well again once more. But until, guys, next time, we'll be here on Tuesday night. We have a live, our big discussion live, where we're talking about that viral video by Jazzy concerning Cam Newton, and talking about submission. What is our definitions of submission? Is submission still relevant today? Should women still be submitting? There's a few questions that we want to talk about as well. As well as Tuesday, obviously, we'll also have earlier on than that the letters to our father as well. So look out for that. It's already up on preview, so you should be able to see all of those things. And then Wednesday night, we're back on our Dark Arts channel. We'll have a video talking about whether your partner is just rude or are they emotionally abusive. Let's talk about those things as well. So listen, audience members, thank you again. It's been amazing. Jay, thank you so much. Audience, we will see you again very, very soon. Yes, Married at First Sight is starting very soon, Sean. You're absolutely right. We'll be back on that very soon as well. So peace, love, and hope, guys, and we will see you again very, very soon. Thank you.